The stoppage of the development means no job, no employment for the people. Overall, there will be complete destructions if it is involved in war. Imagine the situation of the people living in the conflict zone, either in the Middle East, Gaza, Iran, Lebanon, and also Yemen. Apart from that, the Ukraine and Russia, some portions. Because of the conflict, the millions of the people were displaced. Their house that becomes shattered. Their people are not getting the proper food. They are completely dependent on the dole or the help from the United Nations and the other nations who are helping them. But all the cases could have been avoided. It just started because of instigations of the some superpower, so-called, because of their vested interest. Their unnecessary interventions that can lead to the conflict. And the nation also, they were completely influenced by that superpowers. Remember, that superpower they can sustain. So far economy is concerned for that particular nations. They want to show the complete hegemony over the other nations without any reasons, without any cause. But if you fall prey and step into that trap and you begin the war, or you are doing such a thing which can instigate the other party, particularly the neighbors, you are totally gone. Economically, you will be shattered. Your people will be the most affected. Because the big country with the big economy, with the trillion dollars, they won't be affected so much. Of course, they are spending their money. But at the same time, they are also making their money with the sale of the weapons. In the name of the loan, later on, all this can be recovered by that nation. So, we need to think meticulously what is it in me? Then only we can avoid it. Otherwise, to be very much practical, we should and we must avoid this war. Like this wars in our practical life, also in the society, who are we dealing in our office, in our professions, we must avoid the conflict or the quarrel or the altercations, because it won't give you any productive benefit out of it. First, let me come to the bad effect. Your health will be deteriorated because of the excessive adrenaline. It can create the anxieties and the worries in your life, and that is very bad. Your anxieties and worries can create the blood pressure level high. Those who are already suffering in the hypertensions, their conditions will be deteriorated. So why to involve in this conflict zone? First, you need to avoid it wherever it is possible. It doesn't mean that somebody is creating harm unnecessarily to you, but only up to extent of the protest so that you are not getting harm because of that involvement from your side. So first thing is avoid. Second thing is that the communications. Any conflict begins with the bad communications or the bad tonality. Sometimes words are okay, but the way in the body language you are presenting to the other party, he or she can be offended. So we must learn how to communicate with the people. And once you learn, you will achieve that belief that you can avoid that conflict. You will achieve that much confidence to avoid the conflict. Second thing is that intelligence. No, not at all required. The practical intelligence. But of course, you require the emotional intelligence. And that is quite necessary to avoid any conflict that might happen. So, what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is, first of all, knowing self. While knowing self, you must ask yourself, so what benefit are we getting them in the long term or in the short terms? And after believing you, after knowing you, you need to know the other party. Who are you conflicting with? Or you are about to get involved in the conflict zone. And view that other party and try to shift your paradigm to understand properly what is his or her motives practically, if you understand. And then further control your emotions. Sometimes if you need some time to make him or her understand, take the time. For example, regularly I get involved in the professions for some altercations or for some quarrel between the workers and also between the workers and the supervisors. They come with a complaint to me. I purposefully tell them to wait a bit. My purpose is to allow them to get the cool from the hot mindset. Because I believe in myself that a hot mindset cannot resolve anything. And it can totally restrict our horizons of the thinking. At that times, when I say them to wait outside, or sometimes I call them and ask them to sit in the chairs, and I do my own job of important emails or some report preparations. And when I realize they become cold, at that times I request one party to go outside so that I can get the proper information from only one party. And I tell him or tell her, now let me just tell me what really has happened to you. And you are in this conflict. And after getting the full information from him as per views, and I also cross questions to know further what really happened. I note down all these things. What are the points of the conflict? Then I ask him or her to go outside and wait further. Then I call the second party. And I do the same thing what I did with the first party. Remember that in this process, as a boss, as a leader, you must not discriminate because of your personal relationship with the other party. So be neutral in these things to analyze properly. When you get the information from both the party, analyze what really happened. By this time, they become completely cool. Call them. And after calling them, you know how to communicate and how to avoid that type of the conflict and how to stop further thinkings. In most of the cases, in the 99% cases, they understand their mistakes and they pledge to me that they are not going to involve in such kind of the conflict. So that means it can be avoidable. Most of the conflicts can be avoidable. And that's why we need to take care of our communication properly. It cannot be solved by the aggressions. Has it solved because of the aggressions in the Hormuz? Never. Has it solved because of some same war is happening in the Russia and the Ukraine? It is continuously going on and the suffering is still continued. It is not at all desired for. To save yourselves, to keep your health in the highly spirited, you must avoid the conflict. Now question to you, what differently you are going to behave from today and onwards to avoid conflict? If you have understand this, just tell me in the note. And if you think that it will be workable for you, it can make you some extent of the development in your thinking, in your actions. please subscribe me so that I can present you more and more videos like this so that people will be benefited. Bye bye. No war, no conflict, no altercations, only peace. Otherwise, your development will be under siege. Not to stop your development. Always try to improve yourselves in a continual process with the step by step improvement. And you'll find yourself rising high. So instead of the wild goose chase, just take the bull by the horns and take some better actions, the best actions to avoid the conflict and to remain peace and development for yourselves. If you are developing as an individuals, collectively you can contribute for the development of the society. And also in the bigger sense, you can contribute in the development of your country. Don't you want your country become developed? If yes, always go for peace.